There is a reason, and we will not move until y'all move. So I'm gonna look directly into the camera too. We will not move until y'all move. And it would be the worst business.
Hello, fam. Welcome back to TFD with Cordy. So, yeah, today we got to talk about the WNBA CBA situation, and more specifically, Natasha Cloud. Because let's keep it all the way real. She's basically the face of the whole burn it down energy in the league right now. You can argue about other players if you want, but when people think about that movement, Cloud is the first name that comes to mind. Now, if you don't know what burn it down really means, it's not just noise on Twitter. It's this idea of, we don't even need the WNBA. We're fine without it. Almost like saying the league can disappear and the players will still be good. And I'm not gonna lie, that's a wild stance to take when you really think about it. Because here's the irony. Natasha Cloud is still in her prime window. She's got, maybe 3 strong years left? She's lining herself up to be a near-max type of player in the next CBA. We're talking about the chance to make around $2+ million over a few seasons, more money than she's made in her entire career so far by a long shot. So it's like, on one hand, you're pushing this "we don't need the league" message, but on the other, the league is literally about to pay you the most it ever has. I don't know, man. The math just ain't mathin' to me. Let's listen to her.
We're not worried as the players, if I'm gonna be frank and honest and transparent. We're not worried. All the power is in our hands. We have never had a moment like this where there's been so much momentum, where there's been so much investment, demand of our sports. And I'm just kind of upset, frustrated, all of us. And in a lot of ways, just disgusted with the W and how they're handling this and their lack of value, their lack of worth for us, their lack of even trying to attempt to move the needle with us. We know what is on the horizon. We know in 2 years our TV deal is up and there's a new TV deal that's gonna come that they're not even putting on the table for us. The percentages, if we actually told you the percentages of what they're giving, that they're sending to us, it would absolutely piss y'all off. Mm-hmm. So just know when we are standing firm in our feet and 10 toes down, there is a reason, and we will not move until y'all move. So I'm gonna look directly into the camera too. We will not move until y'all move. And it would be the worst business decision of any business to not literally pay the players that make your business go. Without us, there is no W season. So the pressure is on the WNBA, on Kathy, on Adam, on everyone that is in that front office. Do your job.
Let's really get into this today, because there's a lot of noise out there, a lot of emotion, and not enough honesty. When people hear players say, "we're not worried," you have to understand what that actually means. By we, they're not talking about the entire WNBA player pool. They're talking about the 30 or 40 players who are locked into Unrivaled or other premium situations. Those players? Yeah, they aren't worried. But the rest of the league? Whole different story. Because let's be real for a second. People online hear, oh, players are getting paid $200K now, and they think everybody is eating. There's no way people actually believe Hailey Van Lith is getting paid $200K to sit on her ass. There's no way Monique Billings is getting $200K. There's no way Rachel Bannum is getting $200K. That's not how any of this works. Few top names get real money. The rest are still grinding just to stay afloat. And then you've got the overseas myth. Fans love to say, oh, players make millions overseas. No, they don't. They don't. That is straight up false. Diana Taurasi got $1 million once when Russian oil money was pumping cash into that league. Liz Cambage got $1 million because a literal billionaire in China wanted to flex. Those are unicorn situations. If we're being real, most players overseas are getting paid sub 100K. I mean that. 40K, 60K, 75K, maybe 90K if you're lucky. Now let's break it down with real math. If you make 75K overseas and 75K in the WNBA, that's 150K a year to play basketball. That's decent money. And here's the big benefit of overseas ball. You don't pay for food. You don't pay for rent. You don't pay utilities. You don't pay transportation. The team covers everything. So your salary goes straight into your pocket. Even after taxes, that feels like you're living on the equivalent of $200K in the real world. That's decent money. That's enough to justify chasing the dream. But now, imagine that turns into just $75K for 9 months of your life. Now you add the risks. You can get cut at any time, you're in a country where you don't speak the language, you're away from your family, and you've got zero job security. Now you're not living the dream, you're surviving, you're stressing. And this is the part people don't want to talk about. When Natasha Cloud or others say, "We're not worried," yeah, she might not be. The Unrivaled players might not be. They'll still be able to say they're professional basketball players no matter what happens. They can hold out. They can gamble. It's a calculated risk for them. But there are at least 50 WNBA players who, if there's a lockout, are going to have to seriously contemplate retirement. And I'm not talking about vets on their last legs. I'm talking about players in their early 20s. Women who just got drafted, women who just started their careers, and now they're going to have to ask themselves, is this even worth it anymore? This starts to look exactly like hoop dreams on the men's side. You know the story. Guys come out of college, they go play third tier in France, second tier in England, top tier in Ireland. They're clinging to the dream. And most of them, by 23 or 24, just say, nah, this isn't worth it. Let me start my real life. And that's what will happen here too. Because even with the WNBA's current salary structure, the combination WNBA plus overseas made the dream viable. Even if you're making $70K in each, that's $140K. That's worth chasing. You can work your way up. Maybe one day you're making $150K in the WNBA and $120K overseas. Now you're making $270K a year playing basketball. Anyone would take that job. You're not setting yourself back, you're building a life. But now if there's no WNBA, now you're talking about players who might only make $40K or $50K overseas. That's not a career. That's a hobby with stress attached. So yeah, I truly believe if there's a lockout, 75 to 100 players will have to contemplate retirement. And I think at least 50 will actually walk away. Out of a league with about 150 players, that's insane. That's half the league thinking about quitting professional basketball, not because they don't love the game, but because the math doesn't work. And let's be honest about another uncomfortable truth. The WNBA exists because of the NBA. Period. The NBA has put something like $500 million into this league over the last 30 years. It was charity, it was belief, it was long-term investment. And now, yes, it's biting them in the ass because one player, Caitlin Clark, made the league explode in popularity. That's the truth. But the league still isn't self-sustaining at the level people think it is. You can talk about Unrivaled's 21,000 fans in Philly, and yes, listen, fair play. That was impressive. They gave away thousands of free tickets, they put seats on the floor because the court is smaller, they turned it into a spectacle, and people showed up. That's dope. 5 years ago, the WNBA couldn't even give away free tickets and fill a building like that. But it was a one-off, a novelty. You can't build a league on novelty. Unrivaled viewership isn't even in the top 100. It's down massively from last year. They'll say 15%, but the numbers tell a different story. And TV money is the real money. Gate revenue doesn't mean much unless you sell out every single night. You don't make real money from tickets. You make money from TV deals and sponsorships. People are like, Unrivaled should travel. They can't. The only reason they can pay players what they pay is because everyone is in one place. Low overhead, no travel costs, no multiple arenas. Once you start touring, that money disappears fast. And now you've got this CBA standoff. The players want 50%, the league wants 15%. Reports say the players sent a proposal, the league countered, and the players just sent the same thing back and said, we're not moving. So the league said, cool, we're not engaging. And Natasha Cloud basically implied that's true. So now you've got unrivaled players who might take down the WNBA. And I know that sounds crazy, but it's real. Unrivaled might be good for 40 players, but it could be the reason women's pro basketball stops existing in its current form. Because Unrivaled isn't going to last more than 5 years. The TV deal isn't there, the sponsorships aren't there. Some days more people were in the building than watching on TV. Think about how wild that is. There were days with 30,000 people watching on TV. That's nothing. That TV deal will get ripped up. Sponsors will walk. So when Natasha Cloud says 21,000 people paid us, I get the emotion. But it was one day, one city, one moment. Sustained success is a different beast. You wouldn't get 55,000 people at every Iowa game just because they did it once. You wouldn't get 20,000 in every city just because Philly did. Novelty fades. So yeah, some players aren't worried. The Unrivaled crew isn't worried. The stars aren't worried. But the middle of the league, the bottom of the league, the young players just trying to survive, they're terrified. And they should be. Because if the WNBA goes away, even for a year, it won't come back the same. And a lot of dreams are going to die quietly while people online are still arguing about percentages. That's just real. Let me know what you think in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll catch y'all in the next one.